Video, kind of what's going on with the channel, update on the Black Knight 2, and then I wanted to give you guys one little quick talk about this rod also. If you guys wonder why I have regular line on the Black Knight 2, if you haven't watched the real test, just did his cast test on the Dark Wolf Ultra, which is the same reel, and he threw the Black Knight 2 in there too and recast it, and he's always using either 2-pound or 4-pound, or I guess sometimes 6, but I don't think he typically uses braid at all. And so he was saying, well, maybe he'll use regular line, or instead of regular line he will use braid and see if that helps. He's going to give him one more chance, and I can promise him it will, because I just went out. And now it's not a complete fix. He's still going to have issues with it, I'm sure, but it is way better than regular line. And for some of you, I know I preach it all the time, run braid, but especially when you're dealing with the lightest spools possible and trying to throw the lightest baits possible, guess what? Braid is way lighter than any other line. I don't care if you're using, 10, 6, 8, 2, 1. If you completely spool it up, if you fill your spool with regular, especially fluorocarbon is even heavier than mono or copolymer, anything other than braid, you're just adding weight to that spool, so it's going to take more inertia to get it started up. It's going to take more brakes to get it slowed down. So it's physics, right? It's science. It's not rocket science, but it is just way easier for the braid, which is lighter. And I still don't use, even though I use braid, some spools I'll fill up sometimes I don't. It just depends. If it's I don't know, depends on the reel, what I'm throwing it for. But like these little guys I'm going to be using in the smaller creeks and streams, I don't need a full spool in the first place. I don't need it in general bass fishing. Bass make like 20 to 40 foot runs, and if you're casting 50, 100 foot away, and you don't need a ton of line on your reel. And because I fish with leaders to the braid, and so I'll change out the leader every so often. So in a few months time, I've maybe retied the actual braid line itself a handful of times, when I do switch out leaders. So I'm telling you guys, it's all about the braid for this reel anyway. But so I put this line on and I went out. I tried to cast a trout magnet. Oh my God, it was horrible. I don't even know what this is, 6, 8, 10, I don't know. I thought it was 6, but it looks thicker. I'm guessing it's 8, but I thought it was 6, but it's thicker than 6, I believe. So the trout magnet was like, I couldn't even get a single cast, period, light cast, short distance with any, like it was horrible. Brakes turned all the way up. So then I put this guy on, and I used, yes, I know I'm like the real test also. I got my specialized scale, but it's not just for spools. Nope, not around here. Around here, we test baits, or we weigh up all kinds of stuff. But it only goes so high. So you can't weigh reels or anything like that. You can your smaller baits, spools, that kind of stuff. Way better than our normal, whatever that other scale is. And I have a whole nother scale, somewhere around this place that's just missing. It's gone missing. But anyway, I put this guy on, 4.2 grams. Now, if you remember right, before I even put the magnets in or anything, like I didn't have a problem casting anything with, when I put it, the 2-pound, but I only put 100 foot of 2-pound line on, I was casting trout magnets like it was nothing. I didn't have any issues. I didn't have to put any more magnets in the braking system. I put my braid on, and I was casting everything still, no problems. I'm casting, everything. The big worms up to probably like 3 to 3.5, so close to what this is, up to like crazy, almost half-ounce baits. No issues with the braid on. I put this line on. I cannot throw this thing without backlashing. I can go all the way up on the brakes, because I have the other magnets in, and I can cast pretty hard, about as hard as I can, and I won't backlash. But that is with, and I'll show you guys, in case if some of you guys are new to the channel, what's going on here with me, and you watched the reel test today, and he talked about me adding brakes. That's all I've done, or adding magnets to the brake system. And these aren't even a permanent. That is double-sided tape. You don't want to try just sticking them in. They will stick in slightly. You need 2 magnets, or roughly whatever that height is. Those are 2 thin magnets. I think they make thicker ones. You could do 1. And I've had a couple. Charles, who I fish with, he super glued 1 on each side, and that wasn't enough. So then we stuck another one on each one, and he's good to go. Then Jay, a subscriber, had sent me a lot of stuff. He says he has thicker magnets, just 2 thicker ones in his, and I'm not sure how he attached them. These are double-sided tape. So far, no issues. Just 2 magnets of that thickness. And for me, what it let me do was, so when I'm fishing with, my regular braid, I was 4 away. If you guys can see. So 4 away from full. Trying to hold it where you guys can see. From full break, it puts it just on the other side of 4. Well, when I added those magnets, it didn't give me much, but it gave me that. I went from 4 to 7, so that means I'm out casting with my braid, and say the wind picks up a little, or for whatever reason I need to go more. At least gives me like 7 more settings the way I cast and everything. And so I haven't had any issue with the Black Knight 2 as far as braking goes, but it's definitely on the weak side. And it's definitely what I consider more of a finicky reel. And we all know I don't like finicky reels, but it's right there on the verge. I think, and I'm kind of overdoing it, what I'm trying to do with the braid and all that kind of stuff, but I like the reel. What I don't like about that, if I was you guys that do like running that super light line, or any of this line in general, because of the way it'll jump in between the spool, that is not good on this reel. That's why I've been recommending, and I love this reel for all the stuff. It can't cast a trout magnet as good as this reel. Everything else, it just does better. The lingle for even the small baits, once you get into 4 grams or the 2 grams, like a normal 16th ounce crappie jig with something on it, 1.7 to 2.5 grams. Even the 1.5 gram bait is, it gets closer. It's not as good as the Black Knight 2, or I'm sure the Dark Wolf Ultra, which mine's on the way. It should be here next week. It's taken about a month and a half or so from AliExpress. But anyway, so if you guys are just jumping in here and you're like, well, I need a reel and I want a good affordable BFS reel, that's what I recommend. The lingle is just, it's less of an issue. And mine still has a heavier spool. Keep in mind, if you don't remember, or first time with the channel, this spool is 0.5 grams heavier, so half a gram heavier than what it's advertised at. So we will find out. I also have, and I knew this reel had issues, and I got another one ordered, and it's on the way. It should show up when the Dark Wolf Ultra does. They're all coming together, same store. I got another Black Knight 2 coming, another lingle. I've also got a couple other same similar brand that should be the lingle frame. We're going to do some experimenting with those also, but I got all that different stuff coming. But I'm going to be working on this reel. But before I leave and forget, and we're going to talk more about the reel in just 1 second, I want to show you guys this rod I was out there casting on. It's got a little squeak, but don't worry about it. Nothing a little bit of BFS oil won't fix. But I want to talk real quick about this rod. This is there's like 10 hours left on the sale. I did an unboxing. I told you guys about it, but then when I went and shared the link said it wouldn't ship to us. Well, now, during the sale, it's been the last couple days since I listed this, it jumped back on there. And in the description of my unboxing of this is a link. I'm not going to put it again at the end of this video, so if you want one of these, because they're under $20. And I got the 6 foot, and I recommend getting a shorter rod. But if you have to have a 6 foot one, by all means go ahead. But they come in, I believe it's 4.5 foot, 5 foot, 5.5, or 6 foot. There's like 4 different lengths, all the same action. And I talked before, and I kind of went out and unboxing, I talked about it, and I'm just going to show you guys here real quick. The ratings say 1.5 to 9 grams, but that's 4 grams. And when I was out there casting it, and I don't know if just 4.2 grams is loads this rod up. Like I don't know if I'd want to throw 9 grams on this rod. It's a true ultralight. It's probably more of an ultralight than almost any of my other rods I have. It's definitely lighter than the CU double, and it's kind of like that blue rod if you guys remember me unboxing. But it's definitely, if you guys can make out the flake in there, it's got like the simulated, you know, I'm sure that's not real like carbon fiber, it's just a carbon fiber, woven carbon fiber look insert there. That is fake cork, but it looks very good. It looks nice. The 6 foot is like $18.95. It's under 20, and then they get cheaper. The is it 137 meter, which is 4.5 foot one, is only like $14.95 shipped. I mean, they are, for what you're getting. You couldn't just buy the parts to the handle assembly. You couldn't probably get a rod blank for $15 if you want the shorter 4.5 foot one. So I already have this one, 6 foot. It's on the verge. I mean, it depends on what your definition of noodly is. I don't call it a noodle. You know, it's an ultralight. It's going to have some flex, but it is definitely a soft rod. I almost wish I would have got a 5'6". Am I going to order another one? I don't know if you guys follow the channel or not, but I've got 50 million rods. I ordered a bunch of rods. I don't need any more. I'm going to keep this one, and they'll probably come up again for say, you know, able to ship to us. And I don't know what the issue is. I also had another Lure Star rod that the seller said he was unable to ship it to me. Why he's dealing on AliExpress and doesn't know that he can't ship a rod to me when all the other places can clearly ship rods to me in China. So I guess some stores have issues with shipping or something. I think it's just they try to, when they offer free shipping, and then they realize that the shipping is going to be as much as they sold the merchandise for, then they back out of it or something. But anyway, I recommend this rod. I mean, you can't go wrong for, if you want a 4.5 or 5 foot when you're talking $15-16, up to $18 for the 5.5 or 6 foot one, something like that, $17-18. Very good, ultralight. This is definitely one of those, you know, if you got little creek streams or very little ponds, you want to throw the smallest little baits, I'd say something like this would be your max weight. You know, go to that link, go to my unboxing of it, and that's the one where I talked about something taking over the reel test or something. But we unboxed this, and the link is in that description. But we did get batteries. I had AA batteries, AAA, sorry. And this thing only goes, I don't know, it doesn't go much over 50 grams. I think 50 grams is about max. So yeah, 50 grams. And just since we got it fired up and we're weighing stuff, not that we're weighing stuff, I'm just going to show you like what one of these away that I've cut down. So you do have metal insert, you know, for the handles or knobs I've been making. I'm going to see how much they weigh. I'm curious too, I haven't weighed them yet. 3.2 grams. So when you take the foam, let's see if the foam gets any lighter. Here's another. I like these black ones. Here's a black one I really like. Just for when you have that, you want a black knob. So there's this one done. That one didn't have a cap on anyway. These inserts tend to be lighter, if you guys can tell. The Abu Garcia, about the only way you can get those, but they don't have that big chunk of metal on one end. We're lighter. So let's weigh that just to see. Yeah, 4.6. So there is a lot to be said for the Abu Garcia, this style of knob, full cork ones. 2.4. This is what came on the MG Extreme too. That's one of the reasons why they got that thing down to under 4.5 ounces. For those of you that are just kind of wondering, curious what weight with a scale like this, you can tell. So here's your regular just chunk of foam. If you guys got these, you got a pair of these because you're not into the single lifestyle, but you're like, well, do I save weight by cutting them down? I have no idea. Let's find out. Here's this one, and we're going to use, they're the same thing. I want to make sure the same length. So just a chunk of foam. It's pretty light, 1.32, right? So that's lightweight, 1.32. That is less than half a gram. 0.445. So if you're in some crazy mood like I was at one time making these alphas, trying to get them as light as I could, you definitely drop almost a gram. I mean, 132.44. I mean, you're, you know, not far from shaving. And I'm sure if you cut down enough, one of these is cut pretty thin. Nope, 0.48. That thing's just light. This is a denser foam. That's another thing. Is denser foam way more? Oh, yeah. So I can just tell this is like a softer material. This is like a denser fill. And it's definitely heavier. We got our little yellow ones. Oh, that sucker's light. Look at that sucker. He's all the way down to 0.36. I could get it weighing like a feather. It's not far from it. Like, I can't feel it in my hand. I can't feel the weight. I can feel something's in my hand, but I couldn't, you know, if somebody went, guess how much that weighs, I'll be like, nothing. Feels like nothing. Now, these are light, but I can feel them. You can feel the weight. So anyway, yeah, we got a scale. We're weighing stuff. The Black Knight 2. What is scheduled for the Black Knight 2? And I'll try to keep this video under 20 minutes for anybody wanting to watch it. First, we got to get this nasty line off of it. That line, I don't care even if it's P-line original, which I like, copolymer, for leader material nowadays. I don't like it on me. So next up, I got to figure out what is wrong. Where did they goof on these brakes? And the only thing I can figure, and I think I see it's kind of evident right here as I'm looking. I think where they've goofed, let's check because clearly when it goes out, it's out far enough. I think where they've goofed up on is none of the magnets are sticking out far enough that are already there. So here's what I think the problem is, and you need to measure like how much, you know, clearly if that thing's clearing, it goes inside the spool and it doesn't rub, then these fully extended should be like right on the edge or maybe even come a little over. But there's the regular lingo. I know they're different sizes, but you see, I can see the magnets and they're sticking up. See that? So you got 4 magnets that are sticking out of that plastic. They just are. Whoa. Will you focus? And look how flush, look how far down those are. I think that's the whole problem. I don't think they need to remanufacture like anything other than whatever they're doing to glue these in or however thick of magnets they're using. They just need to change them. You need to take this thing, if anybody's watching that knows, that can tell somebody. And so, I mean, you could do it yourself if somebody wanted to take this apart, like not on the lingo. But look how far out those go. Like that's the lingo. See how far out of this actual thing they are? And here, if you guys can make it out. Look, nothing's coming out. See, when you adjust your brakes, you're not adjusting none of this. This is a set thing. Like at some point in time, somebody maybe will figure out a way to put softer, lighter springs. You know, let's do some like crazy, you know, refining of this system. But all of this, even Shimano's, that's just set. That's set from when you buy it. So look at that. You don't see no magnets coming out. Now, I don't know if there's a way to add just enough heat where I can get that glue, pop those off, you know, probably just take a certain size thickness of whatever it may be, a little chunk of plastic, glue it down, glue the magnets back in the hole, sticking out, you know, another quarter of a millimeter, you know, however far out on all the magnets. It looks to me like all of them are just not, whoever made these, they missed that when they made the small version, you know, of, they copied, let's pull this one out and see what it does. They copied this reel. Okay. So then I'm guessing they didn't bother to copy this reel again and downside. They just took what they had there. I can't get this thing off. And then they just copied it. But the Shimano, now it looks like it's in between the lingual. See how, but you can see them. They come up. They come up even with that or whatever. So yeah, see that? So they're probably not even as high up as the lingual are, but they're probably a little better quality magnets. And the guys that were dealing with the lingual probably knew that when they designed these, were the first GH100 and all that. They probably realized we're not dealing with the greatest magnets in the world. So look how high that is. And see how much just sticks up. This thing has good braking. You can be down there around 3, I think, yeah, 2.5 or 3, like good brakes. So I don't have the technology to do this, I guess. I don't. I guess I could try it with the blow dryer. I don't know. You guys tell me. But let's try to get this thing. Yeah, it just doesn't come up enough. So like brakes all the way in, like this isn't really doing much of anything. You know, once you get to a certain, once you get inside that spool, let's pull this nasty thing out if it'll come out. Oh my God, I got a mess here. But once this is in there so far, like it only goes so far, and then it wouldn't matter if you go in and almost start rubbing the other side, you're not doing anything if these magnets aren't getting up there and, you know, touching that. Now, I don't know if there's a way, I don't know. I'll be honest, I've never completely dismantled one of these. I know they all wiggle, but it doesn't really matter. Even if you try like, I'm going to get it to go out further, I don't think that would help. That's what this did. I moved them in and it helped a notch or so. But if you can take all 4 on each side, let me try to hold it where you can make it out. And you want them to literally, when those brakes are applied, to almost rub the spool. They should come so close that they almost rub that spool. Then when you turn it in, that's where you're taking away the brake. And I'm sure Shimano took time and realized that the best distance away from the spool was wherever they set theirs at. I'm sure these guys didn't take as much time. They just stuck them in like, we don't want them to rub. Stick them in there. And it works too. Like I honestly may like this better. You know, I would prefer more brakes than less brakes. But both of those systems, the full-size system works fine. It's something in the downsizing it they lost, and I'm pretty sure I found it out. That's what it is. Not that it was any big secret. I'm sure anybody looking at this is like, yeah, that's what they did. Those magnets, they may be perfectly fine magnets. They're just not close enough to react with the spool enough to give it proper braking. I mean, it's hard to really judge by that, but honestly, I say I could tell that these are a touch on the weaker side. Like you can feel it. Yeah, let me see. I don't know. Magnets are magnets. They do get a little weaker, a little stronger, but can't really tell. Need a gauge. I don't have a gauge. Maybe a touch, but I guarantee you there's enough of them there to work. If they were placed, it's all about spacing. The Shimano, of course, I can never read this stupid thing that I hate. That is the only, right there is the freaking downside of this Aldebaran BFS. If that was like the Alpha's TW Air, they would never, it'd be impossible to ever make a better reel. But you could simply make a better reel by making the Aldebaran BFS and sticking a dial that you can read and easily adjust. That would be awesome. This one I can reach, like you can move, you can kind of start to move it, but like you can't physically move it that easy. The lingle, where's the lingle? Oh boy, I lost the lingle. The lingle, you can't get in there to it good. It's hard to, it's like so tight. But once you do, it definitely clicks and you can tell what's going on. Like it, if I had to pick one, I like this over the Aldebaran. I like this over all of them. Problem is that sucker just, it don't matter what you do. It don't matter where you go with it. It's not going to work that great. Now mine's better, but it's still finicky and I think it's just due to that. I honestly do. I think that's the problem. So I'm going to get out of here, keep it under 30 minutes, but be looking forward to me. I got it. Like I said, I got tons of reels. I'm going to try to figure it out. Is there a way to heat it? Or do we just freaking send every one of them back to the factory and go, look, dude, you guys fix that screw up you made. We want magnets that almost touch that spool. And I got all the line on this one. Be looking forward. I'm not fishing this weekend. It's too cold. I'm going to be putting together a couple different videos, editing some different videos. I'll probably be doing a couple live ones tomorrow, possibly Sunday, but be looking forward to that. I might, I don't know. Who knows? I may get a heat gun. I don't know if I've got a heat gun. I mean, in RC, we're supposed to have heat guns, but I've always used a blow dryer. I know it sounds girly, right? But it's not a blow dryer. You'd be surprised what some of these blow dryers, the heat they'll put out. So I may try to do that. I may dismantle this, see if I can figure out how to make, what makes it tick, and figure out if I can figure these brakes out or not. It needs to be figured out, and it needs to be a simple fix. Is it as simple as holding a blow dryer on top of this and, peeling the magnets out, putting in, just a little cutout of something, maybe with a freaking hole punch thing, sticking, 2 pieces of paper glued in with some glue, let that dry, then re-glue these in on top of it, and it gives you enough distance. I don't know, there's got to be a cure. You just have to be brave and fearless, and we'll figure it out. All right, guys, I got to go, seriously. In all seriousness, I got to go. Thanks for watching. Jump on this reel if you want. Like I said, the link is in the other description to the unboxing I just did. Oh, yeah, I would like to thank the Real Test if he's watching. Give me a shout out. Give me the idea to get this better. Okay, hang on. We're going to get done in less than 30. This is a scale I had, and this scale actually is fairly accurate. Problem was with that lingle spool especially, I was sitting here trying to weigh stuff and it would jump back and forth. That last number would jump and you could tell it was like right on the verge. And so what this scale does is it reads that extra dot. So it goes over, uh-oh, what happened? I don't know what just happened. We just broke something. Anyway, it just gives you that much, more accuracy and being accurate in the little baits and the spools and all that. And if I didn't have a channel telling you guys about it, I wouldn't worry about none of that kind of stuff. You know me, I throw it up there. Oh, it's about a 16th. Oh, it's about an 1/8. Oh, it's a quarter, whatever. And I just go. And as far as spools, it's like, yeah, cast that good. But anyway, we're going to try to get to the bottom of this. We're having more testing. So when I get my other lingle in, and I'm not going to weigh it. No, come here. Now, but I've got different bearings on it, so it doesn't weigh 7.8 grams with that bearing. That bearing's actually lighter than the stock one, which doesn't matter as far as the rotating mass anyway. But, oh, I did, all right, real quick, in the last 30 seconds, and I'll talk about more, I found another weakness in the Black Knight 2. I've had that thing in and out a couple times. Look at that. It doesn't stick anymore. All right, guys, I got to go. I'll talk more about that later, though. We're going to keep it less than 30. Talk about it tomorrow.